Don't let these politicians fool you even a little bit. They're going to try to sell it and try to give it to you and say, oh my God, she was a public servant for the people for all of these decades. No, she took y'all jobs. She manufactured and supported the warmongering. They sold off fucking America, and then they're going to ride into the sunset without ever being held accountable for their actions. And now in their 80s, they can go and sit back while their people benefit from us. Bro, they were the modern day slave owners. They are modern day slave owners. They sold this whole country out. And now, if you want to know why you should be so upset at the fact that we have an affordability crisis, look no further than the motherfuckers that's retiring over the last 4 years. Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Bill Clinton, all of these people, Dick Cheney, all of these corpses that's walking around waiting to die so that they can answer to God for the atrocities that they inflicted on the people here in the United States of America, because they're going to have to answer for it one way or another. Look no further than the people that are walking away into the sunset right now. These are the architects. It ain't even got nothing to do with a president. Those was nothing but figureheads. These people were the architects of the demise of your family. Fuck just America. Your family, your inability to afford a home right now is right there retiring. That's Nancy Pelosi's legacy, in my opinion. That's their legacy. So many lost troops. So many countries displaced. So much of your money and American taxpayer dollars spent making other people rich, some of the most corrupt people, and protecting some of the evil people that's in this society. And you know what the worst part about it is? That's not even probably how they came into office, as you can see from that video. They came into the office bright, bushy-eyed, and like any modern hoe that get caught up in the life, eventually they get turned out. Come in with vigor. You know what? They came in talking like Zoran Mamdani, never had a job, busted down for a real one, and then by the end of their legacy, they was washed up, used up, looking like a mannequin, stiff and rich as fuck, because they fucked their way to the top and they fucked you over at the same time. That's the legacy of these people that have been running for office and controlling themselves. And it's the reason why they will never, ever put in term limits for Congress, because where the money flows, they have to make sure that the right people are in place. They got to make sure that the right people are in place. That's where the money goes. Don't look at me crazy. All I'm doing is telling you the truth. All I'm doing is telling you the truth. Don't look at me crazy. Man, listen, bro. Listen. Don't look at me crazy. If y'all gonna protest no kings, start with Congress, because they control the purse strings of what happened inside of the United States of America. And it's that simple. It's that simple. They play so far in y'all face that they put it in your face and you don't say nothing about it, because they know that you ain't gonna do nothing about it. You are modern day slaves. It's up here first. It's up here first. That's why you refuse to do anything different. And you know what all they got to do? You know what she got to do? All she got to do is go get a kente cloth every once in a while, go to the African American Museum of History and bow down a couple times, and then y'all say, oh my God, they so awesome. Go to the African American Museum of History, get them a kente cloth, say, oh my God, George Floyd. They call you a nigga as soon as they left, bro. Thinking that all of these people is for you. They called you a nigga as soon as they took that kente cloth off. Give a fuck about you? When have you ever seen Nancy Pelosi dining and whining with some black people? When have y'all ever seen Nancy Pelosi hanging out with you? When have you ever got invited to the club? You ain't never been invited to the club, nigga. At least you could say, hey, Trump, he actually advocated for, he donated to, he helped this person, he protected this person, he was for Mandela, he did this, he got this history and this and that. Man, they never fuck with you. How many of Biden's people have ever fucked with a black person? How many of Nancy Pelosi's people is busting it down for a real one with a black person? You think that they ever would allow you to step foot inside of their house? They ain't never coming in your hood. They ain't never kicking it with you. You are part of an establishment and a plantation that you don't even have access to go to use the bathroom inside of the house. Boy, they don't fuck with you. They ain't never fuck with you. And you just fell hook, line, and sinker right into the party. Because they advocated for equal. They advocated for whatever. Boy, gay people got more respect than you do. And you voted at a 92% clip. Gay people got more rights than you do. And you just fell hook, line, and sinker right on up into the mire. Got more respect for illegals. They advocated. They gave money to illegals. Help them get homes. Stood for greatness. And all they had to do was throw on a fucking kente cloth. And you said, oh, you invited to the barbecue. You so stupid. You dumb motherfucker. Oh my God. And y'all just keep on talking every single day. Y'all just be talking online. Give us free. Give us free. And the one thing that you had going for yourself, man, we got civil rights. We got civil rights. We got affirmative action. It was like, not unless you let women in this shit. Not if we don't designate it from black people to black and brown people. Not if we can't throw a sassy man up in this bitch and we gonna make it civil rights for all people that's not white people. Because you know what? You're not gonna have this shit on your own. Civil rights. Boy, who the fuck you think you talking to? Nigga, we need some gay people in here. Not unless you're gonna let trans inside of your bathroom. Civil who? You uncivilized Neanderthal. Let me go ahead and let you niggas be the poster child for what feminism is, but we the ones that's gonna get this money. And now you got Zoran Mamdani. Motherfucker ain't even from here. This nigga's running New York City. And y'all let this shit happen. Y'all got a dude that ain't even from here. Y'all said that y'all was gatekeeping hip hop. This nigga came in as a rapper. I thought y'all was gatekeepers. I thought y'all was gatekeepers. Y'all told me that y'all was gatekeeping hip hop. This dude came in with a kente cloth, hanging out with Africans, talking about kanda. And this dude is the fucking mayor of New York City. Y'all can't gatekeep a mouse, boy. Can't gatekeep nothing. And let me tell you how dumb white people is. White people so stupid because they so much of an apologist that y'all gave the country over to people that's not even from here. White people are the biggest disappointment in history. Let the evidence show, ladies and gentlemen, that white people gave the country that they stole from somebody else to other people, and now they're fighting the person that's trying to fight for them to keep it because they so apologetic of the fact that they benefited from the shit. We have an egregious amount of broke white people. What a fucking oxymoron. Broke white people in the United States of America apologizing to black people for being more successful than them. I said, this shit is disrespectful. This is out of control. Bro, do you know that there are broke white people when we go out into the streets that is apologetic to me about my plight in the United States of America, and I'm richer than them, and they have no clue. They think that I'm oppressed, and they don't have a pot to piss in. They are walking around with an egregious amount of student loans, and they had all of this opportunity and all of this head start. They broke, in debt, and gay. Do you know how stupid that sounds? Do you know how disrespectful that has to be? Do you know how much I laugh at the fact that we have white liberal apologists that are sitting here apologizing to me, who just so happens to be richer than them, that I am oppressed in the United States of America? Do you know how much of a disappointment that you have to be? See, I can understand black people getting finessed, because black people didn't got finessed their whole life. They don't feel as though that they doing anything successful unless they are oppressed. Oppression is the name of the black game. That is the way that it is. If we don't have a leader, black people don't believe anything is worth anything unless somebody else tells us that it's worth something, right? So we have to wear diamonds that we have to steal in another country and then come over here and then let them preserve the amount of it so that we can think that it's valuable. And then we symbolically put on the exact chains that we advocated to take off of our neck to show you that we got money, right? And it's not even worth anything. But the perception of scarcity and the fact that it's shiny will get you motherfuckers out of your thing. So black people are understandably, that we got a different type of glaze over our eyes. We see things differently. We don't believe that it's necessary unless you put at least a $1,500 price tag on it. Then we believe it. We don't even fucking like the food that we eat. Come on, man. Come on. I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. This week is 100 week. We don't like the fucking food that we, man, do you know that we go to these fucking restaurants? Nigga, we don't like that shit. Nigga, you know what we like? Chicken strips and fries. We like chicken strips and fries. We don't even know how to pronounce half of this shit. What the fuck is Grey? I don't even like Grey Poupon. Nigga, you gonna overcharge me for some shit that I don't even like? I like chicken strips and fries, nigga. Tell me what the fuck I like. Nigga, we gotta get in that shit. We gotta get in the club. No, nigga, because they doing it. The white people is doing it. We don't think that shit is valuable. No, nigga, that's the hood. Nigga, that's your hood. That's your hood. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? No, but if somebody else come in and get it, oh, wait a minute, it's gentrification. We don't like shit unless somebody else tell us that it's awesome. We don't like that shit. We don't like it. We don't like it. We don't have no taste, even though we call ourselves the taste makers. We don't own nothing. Because you know what it's all about? It's not about ownership, right? It's not about control. Because see, that's what ownership is. When I explain business to people, and I want to get into this next thing. When I explain business to people, right? Because they think it's about money. Think about this for a second, black people. Let me educate you here, okay? Do you know one thing that rich people will never tell you? Because we only are obsessed with how much money that we think people have. That's why we pocket watch. You know what? You know what people that understand what real money is? You know what they understand? Ownership. You know why ownership is important? It's not because they make a whole lot of money from it. It's because they have control over what happens. That's what ownership represents. Because if you give your intellectual property over to somebody else, because see, some people will make the argument, well, you got 100% of nothing. That only applies when you have something that's not valuable. But what about the value add that we have? Why don't we own anything that is a value add? You can only make that argument to somebody that's not producing something that's valuable. But we don't own anything that adds value, because ownership represents control. And if you start to have that conversation with yourself, because it's not about money. Anybody can sell out for money, but the value of money is going to continue to decrease. It's not an asset. What you do with it after you sell the product is the conversation that we need to have. Because if it doesn't translate into anything except for you buying more stuff, then it wasn't a value add. It doesn't add any value to the people that you say that you represent, right? So when we talk about ownership, And I'm talking about things that are valuable, things that are built up from the mud, things that we control, right? Y'all niggas look at Kendrick as y'all hero, as y'all savior. Kendrick don't even own his own fucking catalog. He is a representation and he is being put out there and played. Drake too. They all being controlled by the same fucking company. And the minute that they say, you know what, I want out, you get the Michael Jackson treatment, nigga. You know why? Because you sold out. That is what selling out represents. That's why we sell out and we give away our intellectual property for things. We don't own anything because you can't have any power. And if you own it, then that means that you get to determine how it's distributed and you open up the new possibilities. Nothing that's happening on this earth is new. And so when I say that I refuse in any way, shape, or form, no matter how much money that they throw at me, to ever sell my intellectual property, is because I knew I had motion before I got motion. How do you think I didn't know that I was going to blow up and I was going to be doing 100 million views? Now, what if, because I could show you probably no less than 100 emails and different conversations with people that was offering me to buy a percentage of my platform. Why wouldn't I sell to these people when they're offering me this egregious amount of money and to partner with me in order to continue to blow up my platform? We could do this for you. We could do this. And I was thinking to myself, I could do it for myself. I don't need you niggas. I don't need you. And that is the biggest threat to an establishment that thrives off of taking. And do you know how rich people get rich? They figure out how to find other people that are smart. And that's why A and B students work for C students. They look for people that are smarter than them, putting together a product, and then they buy into it. They're not innovating. They're not smarter than you. You are the innovators. You just don't have the intellectual wherewithal and the endurance and trying to get the understanding so that you understand why they think you so valuable. Why they want to do business with you? Why do they want to do business with you? What makes you so special? They look for people to buy into, and that's why they love you, because you represent a thing that they need to buy into. Of course, they're going to give you the money. They'll give you all of the money you want. Here you go, here you go, here you go. They're going to get that 200 times over in their lifetime. Anton, how come you won't sell none of your properties? Niggas keep trying to convince me, oh, that's a slow way to getting rich. I'm already rich. But now I have power. Now I have control. Now I can go into city council, or I can go into a specific area and say, hey, listen, I don't like that over there. I don't like that over this. Or in order for you to get in office, you're going to have to do this, A, B, and C. We don't even have no fucking demands. We don't have anything that we can leverage and say, hey, in order for you to win, because we already got, we already stolen, we already took. And so when we have these conversations about power, that is why they want these seats. That is why it is important for them to control elections. This is why they don't care about the money. Have you ever asked yourself, why do rich people run for office? Because they understand it is something more powerful and more valuable than the paper, the money that they're giving you. It don't mean nothing to them no more. When you get to a certain level, when you get to a certain level of understanding, it doesn't mean anything anymore. Because I can't, you know, we were made in the image of God. And do you know why it was important for God to hide us from, why he put cherubims around the other tree that would have given us? Because it's inherently in us to chase being gods. It's the reason why we want to have children and we want to name them after us. It's the reason why we have to put our names on buildings in order to memorialize ourselves. It's the reason why we're creating AI, because we want to be gods. It's inherently in us, because that is a part of our DNA. It's a part of our nature. And so when you get to a certain level that is God-like, you start to understand that. And if you can't control it, it'll control you. It's the reason why dope boys and drug dealers put their name on billboards, even though they know it's going to bring visibility to themselves and it's going to bring heat because you wore the crown, right? We want to be worshiped. We're God-like creatures. And so that is the part that we have to be able to tame and control. And it's also the reason why politicians want to get elected. It's the reason why we have to seek more, even though we already get rich. Do you know why we chase more, even though we already get rich? Why 1 million, 10 million, 100 million is never enough. Now we got to become billionaires. Now we got to become trillionaires. For what? For what? What value would it add to our lives? So then that's when you start to get into the conversation of control, of power. It's not about how many cars you can own. It's about controlling whether or not people can buy cars or not. It's about controlling the market. It's about being a God-like creature because we haven't tapped into our true spirituality. We haven't tapped into our consciousness because we're so carnal. And the way that they keep people controlled is to keep you carnal because you can't tap into your spiritual nature. So it's easy for you to be manipulated with stuff. Got this new iPhone for you. Nigga, this iPhone gonna be obsolete in 2 or 3 years. It's easy to manipulate you with stuff. It's easy to control you with stuff because you haven't tapped into the true power, the true nature, the true understanding of what spirituality is. It's to understand who you are at your core. Who you are at your core is that you are God-like, and the only thing that you got to figure out is how to unlock the understanding behind why you're doing the things that you do, and then you can control it. Which means that you can control anything that happens out here inside of the United States of America. Anything that happens in the world. When you go outside, you can control people. Am I going too far? Am I going too far? It's easy to say, I'm going to do this, and nobody can do it. Nobody can stop you. When you get to a certain level, a certain frequency in life, it's not up to them whether or not you're going to be successful because you tapped into a certain level of spirituality in which you can literally bend what happens in nature. You can bend people to your will. You can bend people to your will. Literally, because very few people have tapped into that side of their spirituality. Let's keep it surface level. Let's keep it. I already knew what I was going to be before I got there. I already knew what I was going. When I tell y'all all the time, I say, listen, y'all, this is only the tip of the iceberg. Watch what happens. Watch what do this. Everything I predict is going to happen happens because I understand. I've tapped into a level of spirituality that's beyond some people's comprehension, which is why they only try to reduce me to Republican versus Democrat, to black versus white, because they can't comprehend in their mind why it's possible. How is this nigga able to do it? Man, he must have got an inheritance. He must have did this. He must have did that. It doesn't make sense to them. It don't make sense to them.